Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. When you hear the name Cleopatra, what comes to mind? A glamorous Egyptian queen? A legendary beauty who seduced powerful Roman men? While there's some truth to that, the real story of Cleopatra is far more complex and fascinating. She wasn't just a queen. She was a brilliant strategist, a cunning politician, and the last active pharaoh of Ptolemaic Egypt. She was a woman who spoke multiple languages, commanded armies, and held the fate of her kingdom in her hands. So, forget the Hollywood myths for a moment. Today, we're diving deep into the true, epic story of the real Cleopatra VII. Her story begins in a world of intense political intrigue. Cleopatra ascended to the throne of Egypt, not alone, but alongside her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII, to whom she was also married, a common practice in the Ptolemaic dynasty to keep power within the family. From the very start, it was clear this was not going to be a peaceful reign. Cleopatra was ambitious, intelligent, and believed she was the rightful sole ruler. The court, however, was a snake pit of powerful advisors who saw the young king as a puppet they could control. They quickly moved to undermine Cleopatra, viewing her independence and sharp mind as a threat. Before long, this power struggle erupted into open civil war. The advisors turned her brother against her, and Cleopatra was forced to flee Alexandria for her life. But this wasn't the end for her. It was just the beginning of her fight to reclaim her throne. Exiled, but not defeated, Cleopatra knew she needed a powerful ally to win back her kingdom, and as fate would have it, the most powerful man in the world was on his way to Egypt, Julius Caesar. The Roman general arrived in Alexandria in pursuit of his rival, Pompey. Cleopatra saw her chance. In a move that has become legendary, she smuggled herself past her brother's guards and into Caesar's private quarters. How? By rolling herself up in a carpet or a linen sack, which was then presented to him as a gift. Imagine his surprise. This wasn't just a dramatic entrance. It was a brilliant strategic move. It allowed her to bypass her enemies and plead her case directly to Caesar. Captivated by her audacity, intelligence, and charm, Caesar was immediately impressed. He saw in her a capable ruler who could stabilize Egypt, a vital source of grain for Rome. Their meeting sparked not only a political alliance, but also a famous romance, with the might of Caesar's Roman legions behind her. Cleopatra's brother was defeated and drowned in the Nile. Caesar restored her to the throne, and this time she was the undisputed ruler of Egypt. Their alliance was sealed with the birth of their son, Caesarion, whom Cleopatra hoped would one day rule a combined Roman-Egyptian empire. With her power in Egypt secured, Cleopatra reigned with skill. She was a popular pharaoh, embracing Egyptian traditions and religious customs, in a way many of her Greek-speaking predecessors had not. But the political landscape in Rome was notoriously unstable. The world was shaken when, in 44 BC, Julius Caesar was assassinated on the floor of the Roman Senate. Cleopatra's powerful protector was gone, and Rome was plunged into another civil war. Her future, and that of her kingdom, was once again uncertain. From the chaos, two key figures emerged to control Rome: Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, and his most loyal general, Mark Antony. Antony took control of the eastern provinces, which included Egypt. He summoned Cleopatra to Tarsus, in modern-day Turkey, to answer questions about her loyalty. But Cleopatra was no unsubordinate. Instead of arriving as a humbled vassal, she turned the meeting into a spectacular display of power and wealth. She sailed up the river Kidnus in a magnificent golden barge, dressed as the goddess Venus, surrounded by attendants. Antony, who saw himself as the god Dionysus, was completely enchanted. Just like with Caesar, Antony was captivated by Cleopatra's intellect and charisma. What began as a political summit quickly blossomed into one of history's most famous love affairs. Their alliance was both personal and political. For Antony, Egypt's immense wealth was crucial for funding his armies and his ambitions to rule Rome. For Cleopatra, Antony was a powerful Roman partner who could protect her kingdom and legitimize her children's claims to power. She returned to Alexandria with Antony, and for a decade, they ruled the East together. They lived a life of legendary luxury and extravagance. But it wasn't all just parties. They were building a power base to rival that of Octavian in Rome. Their union produced 3 children: the twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, and a younger son, Ptolemy. In a bold public ceremony known as the Donations of Alexandria, Antony declared Cleopatra, Queen of Kings, and her son, Caesarion, the true heir of Julius Caesar. He then distributed vast territories in the east to her and their children. This act was a direct challenge to Octavian. Back in Rome, Octavian launched a brilliant propaganda campaign, painting Antony as a man who had abandoned his Roman virtues, bewitched by a foreign queen. He portrayed Cleopatra as a decadent and dangerous temptress who aimed to conquer Rome itself. The Roman people, swayed by this narrative, turned against Antony. The conflict between the two Roman titans was no longer avoidable. Octavian declared war, not on Antony but directly on Cleopatra, cleverly framing it as a foreign war rather than another Roman civil war. The fate of the Mediterranean world would be decided in a single, epic naval battle. In 31 BC, the combined fleets of Antony and Cleopatra met Octavian's navy at the Battle of Actium, off the coast of Greece. The battle was a disaster for them. Miscommunication and tactical errors led to a crushing defeat. Antony and Cleopatra managed to break through the blockade and escape back to Alexandria. But a large part of their fleet was destroyed, and their armies deserted them. Their dreams of an Eastern empire were shattered. The end was now near. Octavian's forces pursued them to Egypt, and Alexandria was under siege. Antony, receiving a false report that Cleopatra had taken her own life, was overcome with grief. He fell on his sword, fulfilling a Roman soldier's final duty. He was carried to Cleopatra's mausoleum, where he died in her arms. With Antony gone and Octavian's soldiers closing in, Cleopatra knew her fate was sealed. She had two choices: be captured and paraded through the streets of Rome in chains as part of Octavian's victory triumph, a ultimate humiliation, or die a queen. She chose the latter. According to the famous story, she had a poisonous snake, an asp smuggled to her in a basket of figs. She allowed it to bite her and died a pharaoh's death on her own terms. Her death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which had ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. It also marked the end of Egypt as an independent kingdom. Octavian, now the undisputed master of the Roman world, annexed Egypt, turning it into a Roman province. He would later become the first Roman emperor, Augustus, and the story of the great queen who challenged Rome would pass into legend. Cleopatra's story is a timeless tale of power, ambition, and love, a testament to a remarkable woman who dared to play the great game of empires and almost won. She was a scholar, a politician, a mother, and a leader who fought fiercely for her country's independence until the very end. Her legacy is so much more than the myths that surround her. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of Cleopatra, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. We'll see you in the next video.